I think language shapes the way society views people with disabilities.
Language can be used in a way that harmful, that communicate that we're lesser.
In high school, I was often called retard. Even just hearing it used in television or pop culture can be quite hurtful.
Plastic. They're very horrible words to describe a person.
Words like cripple, they don't actually identify me as a person, they identify me as a disability.
It's usually just I find people talking to me in a patronising way as if I'm a child.
Like, I wonder how much journalism students are taught about how to talk about people with disabilities. I think there's still very much an angle of pity and an angle of this will get readers.
When they throw the word suffering in it tends to bother me, just because that does definitely tend to mean they should be pitied.
I have cerebral palsy. I don't suffer from cerebral palsy. There's nothing about cerebral palsy that I suffer from.
Wheelchair bound, I hear that a lot in the media. It becomes about a story about the wheelchair, it's not about the person.
I'm not bound to the wheelchair. My wheelchair is actually an enabler to my life. So, yeah, I use a wheelchair.
When people are trying to replace the word disability with other words like special, to me personally, I wouldn't do that.
I don't like the word special. What does that actually mean?
Going away for a significant trip, that's special. An anniversary, whatever.
If you don't say the word disability, then some people will take that to mean that it's a shameful word.
The words, for me, that are the hardest to deal with are the words that, like, you're so inspirational.
The assumption is that you can't do anything in this world. So when you do that ordinary thing, somehow you're defying the odds.
I get it a lot when I'm like, oh yes, I go to uni or graduated uni, and people are like, oh, such an inspiration. Okay, but so many of us do that every day.
One person came up to me and said, a lot of girls, they may have all beauty, but they don't have it up here, whereas you've got it up here. She was intending it to be a compliment, but it wasn't a compliment at all.
I've been told a few times, it's a real shame you're in a wheelchair. If you weren't, you'd be so pretty. Like, those two things are not mutually exclusive, but now I know that you think they are.
Like, we're creating a society of categorizing people, stigmatizing people, and it impacts on people mentally.
When you hear those messages repeatedly from the media, from people in the street, from your own family sometimes, it can really start to corrode your sense of worth.
Definitely, I think I've definitely had to overcome the stigma and assumptions that people have of people with disabilities.
I said, I cannot do this, I'm not able to do this because this is what people are saying. But then one day I decided, hang on a minute, I don't have to live like that. I know I have a disability. Disability is not inability.
So person first language is the idea that you are a person before you are a person with a disability. So instead of saying wheelchair bound or disabled person, you would say I am a person with a disability. You also have identity first language, which is where your identity is something that you can claim. So I am disabled.
I prefer to use the language of person first, whether that be physical disability, intellectual disability, whatever, they're people first. And I think that's the foremost that we've got to remember out of all this, is that we're talking about people.
Is the person that has a disability. So let us address the person as a person, get to know the person as a person, not as a disability.
I'd definitely go with the person with a disability one. So it means that the disability part is secondary to who they are as a person. What's on the surface isn't who they are, it's what's underneath.
I use identity first because I think disabled as a descriptor is only a negative descriptor if we give it negative connotations. It has negative connotations because society says being disabled is bad. Disabled the word isn't inherently bad. It's just a descriptor. So I don't say I'm a person who's a woman, I say I'm a woman because my personhood is already implied, whereas somehow then I'm saying disability, now my personhood is not implied. To me, that's more of a societal issue rather than the word.
If you ask someone how they would like to describe themselves and you use whatever word that person has used, then there's nothing to worry about.
I think when we talk about the incorrect language or the language we don't want, instead of being scared of that, I think able-bodied people and disabled people should be happy that we're finally getting a voice to say this is what language we want.
Don't allow this type of video to scare you off. It's to encourage you to probe a bit further and find out what the person with disability wants you to know.
Create a little bit of a rule with yourself, which is that my job is to listen, and I'll ask questions with good intention without any assumption, and it's okay if I make a mistake.
So if you make a mistake, don't shy away, don't run away. There's no human being who is perfect. We all make mistakes. So it's okay to make a mistake. If you make a mistake, you can learn from that.